So today I am going to show you guys how to rebuild a P drive primary clutch. My clutch has been sticking on me. The clutch wasn't disengaging, it's hard shifting. So I'm going to go ahead through my P drive here. I'm going to see what all I can do to it. I'm going to replace the torque rollers, the thrust rollers, the one-way bearing, and the shims. Hopefully that'll fix my issue. If not, I'll have to look into it further. I might go Ibex kit at that point. But we'll cross that bridge whenever we get here. So for what I got for parts is I got the one-way bearing. I got the shims. These are the torque and the thrust rollers. That's the part numbers that I got for them. If you guys can see that or not. I got the Ibex splitter tool and an Ibex clutch puller tool. I plan on splitting this primary on the machine. I'm not pulling the whole primary off. So I have these speed pins to get my clutch box cover off. If you guys didn't convert to these, you guys are going to have bolts. You're going to have to take these bolts out. I think there's 10 or 11 of them or something like that. They go the whole way around. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get these pulled out of here. And once I get this cover off, I'll be back with you to show you what I'm working with. Alright, so we got the clutch cover off. This is what's behind your clutch cover. This is your secondary roller here. I'm not going to do anything with this today. You have 3 rollers inside there. Those do break. Those do need replaced. I have replaced them on mine already. These ones are good because they were replaced. My helix is not pulled up against them rollers because I have a different secondary spring in here. I'm running a compression spring instead of a torsion spring. That's why it's kind of off those rollers. As soon as you put it in gear, it tightens back up to the rollers. Anyway, so this is the P drive. This is what we're going to be working on. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this pulled off. You got to take your main bolt out. That's where you'll put your puller tool in. Like I said, I'm not pulling this whole thing out. So I'm going to put the puller tool in there. You got to take all of these bolts out. You'll put the splitter tool on that. You'll hit it with an impact. You'll pop the outside half of the primary off. You'll let the inside on the crank. I'll put a penny or something just to protect the helix here. And go ahead and spin that in, pull the belt off, and we'll go ahead over the primary. So once I get all that set up, I'll be right back with you here. Alright, so I got my clutch Ibex splitter tool put on my primary. I got the belt off. This is how it sets up. So from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this bolt right in the front with an impact, and it's going to separate the 2 halves. So, there it is. I don't know if you guys could hear that pop or not, but that pop was this P drive separating. I'm going to go ahead and get these bolts back out of it. We'll get this outer half on the bench and see what we can get into. Alright, so we got this outer half of the primary off. Got it up here on the bench. We're going to be replacing these, and we're going to be replacing these rollers. So I think we're going to do these ones first. You got to take this bolt out. Once you get this bolt out, you'll put a punch in there. You'll drive that stud out to drive it from here out. Once you get it out, there's 2 bushings in the roller. It'll all come out. The kit comes with new pins, new bolts, so you ain't got to worry about damaging any of them with a punch. Just make sure you don't actually hit your outer half of the primary or anything, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get this first bolt out. I'll drive it out with a punch, and I'll show you what we got. Alright, so I got the first one out. Come out really easy, really simple. This is the old one here. I just put everything kind of back together to show you how it goes, but that just sits in just like that. So it actually doesn't look bad. I thought the needle bearings inside these were going to be a lot worse. But this is a new one. The old one, honestly, don't look bad. But I have them. I'm going to go ahead and throw them in and replace them. So the new kit, it comes with white bushings, washers, and black ones. Factory had black ones in it. They're not worn at all. I'm going to put the black ones back in. If whenever you guys go to do this, if you have some slop and play, you can use the white ones. They're just a hair thicker, so it will tighten up some tolerance for you. But I'm going to go ahead and get all these changed and replaced, and I'll be back with you whenever we go to do the other ones. Alright, so we got all of these changed. I don't have the bolt tight yet. I had to look up torque specs for it. But all three of those are done. So we're going to move on to these ones. So for these ones, you have to pull these little roll pins. One on each side. Once you pull them roll pins, you have to pull this main pin. It comes straight out. Once that comes out, you'll be able to pop these out. Take them out, put new ones in, line everything up, push pin back in. Once you get the pin lined up, pound your roll pins back in. That'll be it. You're going to do that for all three of them. You do not need to take the spring out, to my knowledge, yet at least. So I did not buy the spring compressor tool. I planned on trying to rebuild this thing at as little amount of tools as I had to buy as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get these roll pins out, and I'm going to see if I can make this happen. We'll be back with you here in a minute. Alright, so I got one changed. They were definitely bad. So I think this might have been my problem. So this is the old one. It don't look too bad just looking at it. However, if I pull these off, it looks a little bent. And on top of that, look how bad that thing is scored and gouged. So, when these rollers were on, look how much side to side slop that were in them rollers. I think it was binding up on the spider, and this is what was causing me all my problems. So I'm going to go ahead and change the other ones, obviously. It is a little more difficult than I was hoping. I know they make a tool that threads into these pins so you can pull these pins out. I don't have the tool, so I'm making do with what I have. As far as getting these roll pins out, I'm using a pair of side cutters. I'm coming in like this, and I'm just prying them out. I am putting a big flat screwdriver underneath the side cutters before I pry, just to give me a bigger flat surface, and so I'm not messing up the clutches. To these pins, I'm not sure what I'm going to do changing the rest of them, because my thought process for the first one was take one of these old screws from these rollers, because they thread right in. So I threaded it in. I put a crescent wrench up against like this. I put a washer against the crescent wrench, put the bolt in. The crescent wrench sat on the side of the clutch, and it started pulling this pin out. It was perfect. And then the bolt broke. So I have all the extra bolts. I have 2 more extra bolts. If I can get it to pull out far enough where I can get something in behind it to pry it, that's what I did with the last one. Once it broke, I could get this big screwdriver back in behind it, and I was able to work it the rest of the way out. But if them bolts break before I can get this to move at all, it's not going to be a good day for me. So I might go into the garage. I might see if I have a stronger bolt that'll thread into that. If not, I might go to the hardware store and get one before I risk getting myself into more issues than I need to. But I will keep you guys updated and informed on how I get through the other 2 of these, and we'll get it back on the machine. Alright, so About 5 hours later, and a bunch of frustration, the last roller pin did not want to come out. I had to cut it out, cut the rollers, bust the rollers. I had to separate the spider from the outer and get a pair of vice grips on it to pull the rest of the pin out. It was not fun. However, we are back together. I have to tighten up the 3 bolts for the thrust rollers. Other than that, this thing's ready to go back on the machine. So, once I get it on the machine, I will keep you guys updated and we'll see how everything goes. I have a good feeling we'll be okay, but I wasn't nice to it trying to get this apart. So, I think we'll be all right. It's banged up a little bit. I think we'll be good. All right, so for the one-way bearing, I forgot to get the camera out. I already have it off, but I will show you guys how to put the new one on. So, this is your one-way bearing. There's a shim on each side. I'm holding them on. You can kind of see that one moving. There's one there. There's one on the other side. Make sure you have your inside shim, your bearing, your outside shim. Slide everything on into place. Once you get everything on, you're going to take this piece. You're going to slide it on. And a snap ring. You take that snap ring. It's going to be hard to do with one hand, but you take that snap ring. You're going to slide it on into place. Just like so. That's it. That's all there is to changing your one-way bearing once you get the outer half off. Super easy. Alright guys, so it's the next day. I called her quits after the whole fiasco with those torque rollers and figured I'd finish putting this together the next day. So here we are. I got the primary put on. I had it torqued down. Primary bolt, 89 foot-pounds. I used a 2x4 to support my primary, so I didn't have to buy a special tool to hold it in place while I was torquing it down. So whenever you put this together, it's probably going to be hard for you to see, but there is a line that I put with a marker. There's one right there, and the other one's directly across from it. Whenever you pull your sheaves apart, you definitely want to mark them. So whenever you put them back together, you want them lined up. I heard it's for balancing reasons and a few different things. I don't know how true it is, but I definitely do it every time I tear mine apart. I would recommend it. Other than that, it's torqued down, the belt's on, and I'm going to fire this thing up, make sure everything's good to go. Alright, so we're fired up. Primary spinning, secondary's not moving. Everything looks perfect. I'm going to take this thing out this weekend. We'll see how it does. Hopefully everything will be good with it now. I'll keep you guys updated with it. Hopefully you guys like watching this. Hopefully it'll help somebody out if they're a little leery about tearing their clutch apart or something like that. Hopefully this video will ease their mind a little bit, minus that one little hiccup with them torque rollers. Everything went pretty smooth. If you buy the proper tool to pull that pin, it might have been a little easier, probably a lot easier. But other than that, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. You want to see more videos like this, working on the machines and whatnot, let us know. We'll film them for you. Have a good one.